Hello everyone, this is Stratus here, and welcome to another Top 10 video. So this Top 10 video is not Nerf related, it's NASCAR related. If you don't know what NASCAR is a sport where a bunch of dumb rednecks are driving around in circles on ovals. I had to get that reference in. But no, seriously, NASCAR is a bunch of professional stock car drivers in late models driving around in road courses and ovals on state-of-the-art tracks. It's pretty easy to actually find out what it does. But NASCAR has been doing everything since the early 50s, and NASCAR is one of my favorite sports of all time. However, I'm talking about the old NASCAR because anything above 2020 is outright garbage. Everything underneath the 2020, like the 2019 Truck Series, seen on the picture, is the last greatest year in NASCAR history. But the only thing that NASCAR people like is mostly the cars or the drivers. What are the worst drivers in NASCAR history? Well, today we're taking a look at my top 10 worst NASCAR drivers of all time. Just like the other list, this one has a disclaimer. It's strictly my list. Feel free to leave yours down in the comments down below if you don't agree with me. But let's get started with number 10. Number 10 is Noah Gragson. So Noah Gragson has been driving in the Xfinity and the Cup Series for a long time now. Now the reason he's at number 10 is back then he was bad at the Xfinity Series. Didn't really get that many wins. However, he started riffing off a bunch of wins in the Xfinity Series and then became part of the Cup Series, where he's actually been finding success. So, Noah Gragson, there's a whole other 9 drivers worse than you, man. So take pity on that, and have fun with your life at number 10. Number 9 is Mike Skinner. You're probably thinking, why is Mike Skinner on this list? Well, his Cup Series saga was really bad. It's actually one of the worst in my opinion. So Mike Skinner was in the number 31 Lowe's, and then he made the switch to number 4 Kodak Chevrolet, which we all know where Pontiac or what the heck it is. However, he made the smartest decision to drop down to the Truck Series full time, and the Truck Series is when he won a bunch of championships and a whole bunch of races. If Mike Skinner was never in the Cup Series, he wouldn't have made it onto this list, but here he sits as the 9th worst driver, and I still like him. It's just he should have never went to the Cup Series at all, or Busch. Should have just stayed in trucks, in my opinion. My throat hurts. Number 8 is Stephen Wallace. Now, Stephen Wallace is part of the legendary Wallace family of NASCAR. Rusty Wallace, Kenny Wallace, and Mike Wallace. But Stephen Wallace was always going to follow in Rusty Wallace's footsteps, and more likely his shadow. So Stephen Wallace started his racing series, I don't remember exactly, but the reason he's on this list is his Busch Series or Nationwide Series races was bad. He was in a pretty good paint scheme, which is the number 66 or 77 5-hour Energy Toyota, which is one of my favorite looking designs in NASCAR history. But there's a whole bunch of other drivers worse than you, Steven, so enjoy your time meeting other people, which is always nice. Number 7, we have Jeffrey Earnhardt. Oh, I really don't like Jeffrey Earnhardt. So Jeffrey Earnhardt is an Xfinity and Cup Series driver. And the reason I don't like him is, well, because of the I-Canine chicanery that happened at Daytona. What happened was, I-Canine missed a payment and the decals and the banners were taken off the hauler. However, a few hours later, they re-put the banners back on. It turns out Jeffrey Earnhardt backed out because, well, he heard that he wasn't getting a full-time Cup ride in 2020. It turns out Christopher Bell's name was getting slung around, and he got jealous and then left. Which, that's a dick move, Jeffrey Earnhardt. That's a really dick move, in my opinion. And I honestly hate him. Every time I play NASCAR Heat 4, I always wreck him in the game. So that's cool. Number 6, we have Natalie Decker. Oh, Natalie Decker. One of the worst NASCAR drivers of all time. She should not be a NASCAR driver. She should just be on Instagram or OnlyFans making some sweet-looking pictures of her body and her face. But she was never made a NASCAR driver. Can you agree with me? Well, certainly Kamikaze Games does, because Natalie Decker is not a NASCAR driver. She's an Instagram sensation. Although she is attractive, she was never made to drive any cars, even GT cars, or F1. But she sits as the 6th worst NASCAR driver of all time. Now we're getting into the top 5. This is when it starts to get really bad. Number 5 is Mike Harman. Now, Mike Harman is a Xfinity, Busch, and Nationwide Series driver that has made hundreds and hundreds of starts. However, the reason I don't like him is back in the early 2000s, mostly 1998 and 2000, he was part of the Big Daddy's barbecue sauce scam, which it wasn't really his fault per se, but they decided to make him a Cup Series driver when he never made a Cup Series start. However, Mike Harman was well known for his practice wreck at Bristol, where, remember, he chopped the whole car in half and managed to climb out. Unless that wasn't him. I think that was him, but someone look into that because I don't remember. But the question is, Mike Harman isn't a really good driver. He's a star in Parker, but lately in the Xfinity Series, he's actually been doing a lot of good moves lately. So we'll have to watch for him later in the season. But we're going to go with number 4. Number 4 is Danica Patrick, the other female on this list. Now, everyone was probably wondering when I was going to put Danica Patrick in this list, and you guys were waiting for it. She's the 4th worst driver on my list, and at first when I saw Danica Patrick in the Nationwide Series, I was like, oh, maybe actually she could be a good driver. And then when she got to the Cup Series in 2012 and 2013, that's when everyone recognized she didn't have skill. And she was running with one of the best racing teams in NASCAR, Stewart-Haas Racing. And she couldn't even race in that degree. In the Cup Series of Monster Energy, she was bad. And then she left NASCAR altogether, which was the best decision of her entire life. Oh my god, it's bad. Now we're getting into 3 drivers I absolutely disgustingly hate, so prepare. Number 3 is Todd Cleaver. Now you're probably thinking, who? And you're also probably thinking, was he in the Cup Series? Well, here's a picture of his Cup Series car. So Todd Cleaver was in the Busch Series for Roush Racing. He actually won on a show called it's a TV show that Roush Racing, I don't remember exactly the name, but if you do know it, put it in the comments. So Todd Cleaver was part of Roush Racing. He was in Busch Series. He was the one that was actually going to replace Mark Martin when he retired from Roush in 2006. And he was really bad. Like, really horrible. He had about a few chances. His last chance was at Martinsville, I think, and he wrecked the car, and Roush Racing was done with him, so they gave it to David Reagan, which David Reagan isn't really that good, but he's way better than Todd Cleaver, in my opinion. Number 2, we're getting into the 2 worst drivers. Number 2 is one that Connor's probably expecting, shout out to you, Connor, is J.J. Yeley. Oh, fuck, I hate J.J. Yeley. So J.J. Yeley started his NASCAR career in the Busch Series in the number 18 Interstate Batteries Chevrolet in the Busch Series. He was so bad for 2 seasons. And what happened in 2006? Well, he got promoted to the number 18 Interstate Batteries in the Cup Series, where he was bad. But he didn't even get a single top 5 or a top 10. He was really bad. And what did they do? Well, they naturally put him into the Cup Series for more than half the friggin' seasons. He was really bad. Really bad. He's one of the worst NASCAR drivers of all time, and I'm going to just say one thing. Yeah, if J.J. Yeley was staying in the Busch Series or dropped down the trucks, he wouldn't be that bad, but he is an unmitigated failure. And funny enough, in the NASCAR Fantasy Series, which is something I made, in the NASCAR Fantasy Series, he actually passed away in the 2004 season in the Busch Series. He had a fatal accident at Memphis Motorsport Park, which was really funny, though. And this is the NASCAR Fantasy Series, not the real-life series, of course. Now, number 1, who's the worst driver of all time? No, not Casey Mears, not Mark Truex Jr., and certainly not Dale Earnhardt Jr. The worst driver is, without a doubt, Shane Meal. Shane Meal is the worst NASCAR driver of all time. Although Shane Meal isn't around, he is still around, except he is bound to a wheelchair because he got paralyzed in a dirt sprint accident, which he kind of deserves after being horrible in NASCAR. So in NASCAR, he was in the number 66 Busch Series car, and he had a feud with Casey Mears and Dale Jarrett. And the reason he is so bad is he got kicked out of NASCAR twice. The first time he failed a drug test in 2004, or in 2004, or 2003, excuse me. And then he got to the Cup Series in 2005, was so bad, and then at the height of his career, he failed another drug test and was banned from life in NASCAR. And he was replaced by Jason Leffler, who was actually way better, and did get some wins. And if you can get some wins in NASCAR, then you are an actual good driver, unlike Shane Meal, who is a complete retard. And funny enough, in the NASCAR Fantasy Series, he actually did die at the All-Star race in 2001, which was well-deserved. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys later with another top 10. Make sure to like, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, everyone. Yay!